Um, the main event was something. So I will say a lot of this show was similar, Ray, into what you said. You kind of knew who were going to win, who was going to win the matches, mostly. I did like, even though we knew who was going to win between Adam Page and Jeff Jarrett, I still liked the match. Lumberjack strap match. You don't see that a lot. And at first, when it was called a lumberjack strap match, I was thinking, okay, though, why are they going to have lumberjacks when two guys are tied together with a strap? That doesn't make any sense. You don't need lumberjacks when they're tied together. But
Right.
okay, so you just give all the lumberjacks strap. That's good. Um, and and they used the match to set up something at the end. I like the way this was done.
Yeah, I actually saw on Jeff Jarrett's pod after I wrote the preview. I saw on Jeff Jarrett's podcast that what this was going to be. Not that I watch his podcast regularly, but anyways, yeah, what a fun gimmick for these two. Very early TNA ish, but I enjoyed it, and I love Juice Robinson. I think he's one of the best total packages AEW has in terms of the promo and the wrestling ability. And I can't wait to see him and Hangman Page. I kind of wonder if the end game here is maybe Jay White. These guys have a rivalry that began long before AEW. And I would love to see a babyface Jay White and heel Hangman. So, we'll see where this goes. But I love Hangman's character right now. Um, he is so believable in his portrayal. Sometimes I feel like he really does hate the roster and the fans. It's so convincing. He just doesn't seem anything like he used to be.
I happened to watch, I think it was last week. I was flipping around on YouTube and something came up in recommendations for me. It was a Magnum TA versus Ric Flair match from 1985. And got my attention, so I'm going to watch this match. It went 30 minutes. Flair got the win. Magnum did a belly to belly. The referee was knocked down, and then Flair pulled the tights and won the match. But it just made me think of Magnum. Magnum TA reminds me a lot. I may have said this before on podcast. He reminds me a lot, or maybe Adam Page reminds me a lot of Magnum TA. And it's interesting. They're both guys from Virginia,
Yeah.
similar size guys. Magnum was maybe a little taller, but similar build and everything else. And people remember Magnum TA, and this is I'm talking way back in the day now. His career ended in 1986 with that tragic car accident, but he was a guy that was going to be the world champion at some point soon after that, if not for that accident in 1986. He was being groomed to be the replacement for Ric Flair in the late 80s. Um, People remember him for being a babyface, but the feud that had gotten him on the doorstep of the world title was a feud with Nikita Koloff for the U.S. title. That boy, I mean, we got to see a little bit of a dark side of Magnum too, because the Russians were going to all avenues to try to undermine Magnum, and he got stripped of the title because he attacked the NWA president, the kayfabe baby NWA president Bob Geigel, and got stripped of the title, and they put it up for a best of seven series. And I don't know, just there's similar vibes to me, and so when I watched that match, it kind of brought all that back for me. That Adam Page, could be a guy that's reminiscent of a great like Magnum TA.
From the promos I've seen of Magnum, especially with Dusty, and I think definitely juxtaposed to Dusty, it was more prevalent, is he didn't have the kind of bubbly attitude that Dusty did. He always seemed serious. It seemed like at times it was hard for him to smile and be happy almost. He was just so committed to the role that he was portraying and so serious about the business. I definitely see what you're saying. Hangman Page has never. It's hard to tell when he's happy. He's someone who always seems like he's just not satisfied, and I think finally maybe that's effervesced to the surface. That he had a really great interview before his match with Swerve, and he said that if the fans really loved me, they would hate Swerve Strickland. And what a I mean, how I wish he would say that on television, because how else can you uh, make this any clearer what he feels? I mean, if the fans really loved him, then they would hate Swerve Strickland, right?
What a baby face he is. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
he's an anti-hero almost kind of baby face. He burned down the guy's house on TV a couple weeks ago. That kind of guy. but yeah, he's a hard edge baby face, and um, to me, for me to compare him, I was a huge Magnum TA fan, and still to this day, it breaks my heart that he didn't, that he had that accident and didn't get to live out his destiny in wrestling. He got to do a lot of other things in life, but not to be the NWA World Champion. That's a huge compliment. It's meant as a huge compliment for me anyway.